Come along with us on the White Pass and Yukon Route.
Appreciate it, thank you. Love you, y'all.
Where's that yellow from?
Yellow? Y'all? They came from San Angelo, Texas, where I'm from. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
We grew up Texas too.
Thank you very much, thank y'all.
Now that everyone is on board, I do have some safety announcements that I need to go over with you, so please folks, listen very carefully. As you saw when boarding, there are platforms at the front and back of each train car. Within Skagway city limits, these platforms must be clear, so I will make an announcement when I have heard from our conductor that we've cleared city limits and you can go outside. While outside, please make sure you understand that you're not allowed at any time to cross from car to car. And please stay off that thin metal bridge connecting the cars together. Our #1 rule on this excursion is that there's no crossing from car to car. The only folks that are allowed to cross is our trained staff. All passengers 16 years and under do need to be accompanied by a responsible adult while outside on those platforms. There is no smoking at any time in or outside of the train cars, and this includes electronic cigarettes. If we do catch you smoking, we will assume that you have caught fire and take the necessary measures to put you out. There is also no consumption of alcohol allowed at any time during our trip today. And although it is 5 o'clock somewhere, it is not on this train ride. Please make sure not to rest your hands and fingers in the doorways to the platforms, as the doors can slam shut suddenly due to the rocking of the train. Finally, please do not touch the stoves that are in your cars. If you need assistance with the temperature in your coach, just let one of our train staff know. Thank you for your compliance and understanding. Now I'd like to go ahead and introduce myself and welcome you all aboard the historic White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. My name is Parker and I will be your narrator today. Also at this time, I'd like to introduce you to our train crew. Our engineer is the one operating the train today. And in fact, it's the first female engineer of the White Pass Railroad. Her name is Lindsay Breen. The conductor, the man in charge of the train today, is Conductor Simmons, and assisting him is Brakeman Ballard. Our roaming tour guides today are Mason and Diana. And if you have not met them yet, you will shortly. On your seat today, you should have seen the All Aboard magazine, and on the very back there's a route map. You can follow along our trip today. There's a lot of great information in that magazine. We're starting here in Skagway, Alaska, and going all the way up to mile marker 20.4, which is the White Pass Summit. We will be remaining on the train for the entirety of our trip to the summit and back down to the city of Skagway. So folks, you will not need your passports today. Our train will be taking a loop in the track at the top of the summit before heading back down, so do not worry. If you're on the left side, you're going to be on the right side, and if you're on the right side, you're going to be on the left side. Both sides will see all the beautiful scenery around us today. Now I'm going to give some time for Mason and Diana to introduce themselves, so go ahead and sit back, relax, and enjoy the train ride. All right, all the boring stuff is out of the way.
Yeah, I actually filmed the first 2 trains leaving. I was the one with the camera set up.
That's actually perfect for you. You'll get everything. That's so smart. Yeah.
And what we'll do is, on the way back, she'll have it on the...
There you go. Perfect.
To get the valley going down.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no, I had all 4 of my cameras set up by the trailhead. So when you guys
Nice. And you
pulled
got
up-
some pictures of the train?
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Coming up on the left-hand side is going to be the White Pass Workshop. Now this is where our mechanics do all the work on our vintage fleet to keep everything running in tip-top shape. They maintain over 80 passenger cars and 13 diesel electric engines and our steam locomotives. They work tirelessly to ensure that you get to experience the railroad to its fullest. So you see a lot of engines in the yard here, a couple of retired ones like that steam engine 63. Number 73 is on the back side of the depot, I hope still, being worked on. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, there's number 73, that steamer is being worked on. Hopefully we'll get it out for 4th of July tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, go to 7. Now coming up on your right-hand side is going to be the Gold Rush Cemetery. A lot of characters from the Gold Rush era are buried here. Real quick, please keep in mind, when I announce things, it has to be a little bit early. There's about 6 other cars in front of us, right? They need ample time to see the things that you are going to see. So yes, I announced the Gold Rush Cemetery. It's coming up on the right. Well, it's on its way, okay? It's actually right here. A fun fact, back in the 1898 era, in the early 1900s, the ground was really tough for these gold rushers, these stampeders, to dig, okay? Horizontal graves. So what did they do? Well, they played it smart. They used blasting powder to blast vertical holes, and they would bury the bodies vertically instead of horizontally, okay? And that's how a lot of folks are buried there in the Gold Rush Cemetery. Good question. Luckily, I live in Arizona. No, I'm just kidding. I know. So, about a foot or 2 in Skagway. Not a lot at all. In the winter, what really sucks is the wind, okay? Skagway roughly translates to terrible windy place in the Tlingit language. So, yes, the town was named after the Tlingits. The Tlingits, they lived 9 miles west of Skagway and Daiit, okay? And they were out there for a while. Skagway was the head of the White Pass Trail. Captain William Moore founded that town, and he said, you know what a great place to put a city, right? And it was a great place to put a city. Little did he know at the time, but Skagway's port is the only port in all of Southeast Alaska that can be docked from like Japan and those waters over there. It doesn't freeze over in the winter, okay? It's because it's a naturally carved out fjord, all right? Some of those waters can get thousands of feet deep, and that's why your cruise ship was able to dock here today. Go ahead. Everyone, this is Conductor Simmons. He's the man in charge. Don't make him upset. Okay? Folks, let me take you back to the year 1896. In the month of August, Skookum Jim, Dawson Charlie, George Carmack, and his wife Kate were up in the Klondike area of the Yukon when they discovered the gold that would change the course of history. The gold rush itself started innocently enough about a year later in July of 1897, once that gold found its way down the west coast of the United States. Two ships, the Portland and Excelsior, docked in Seattle and San Francisco, carrying stacks of yellow metal. The news had spread like wildfire nationwide, and at that point, the West Coast was delirious with gold rush fever, and the race to get up to the Klondike was on. Within days, thousands flocked to West Coast towns trying to book passage north. The fact that the Klondike was more than 1,500 miles away and over a treacherous mountain pass would not deter many. Gold fever had taken hold, and everyone wanted a chance to try their luck in the new frontier. Let me come to you, hold on.
Where that cut is up there?
Yeah.
That's where we'll be in a few miles.
Oh, nice.
Glacier melt, snow melt, and rainfall. Coming up on your right-hand side, you will see a little red caboose. Now this caboose used to be a part of the White Pass rolling stock, but was donated to the National Park Service, and now it is rented out to overnight hikers. After we see the caboose, keep looking to the right and you'll be able to see the Denver Valley. For those of you on the left, you'll see the train curving to the left, pulling the entire fleet of cars over the Skagway River. Roger. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I have been told by our conductor that it is okay to go outside on those exterior platforms. Please keep a few things in mind. There is no crossing from car to car at any time, and please stay off that thin metal bridge connecting the cars together. Additionally, all passengers that are 16 years and under do need to be accompanied by a responsible adult. But yes, you are free to go outside on the exterior platforms for your viewing pleasure. Alright folks, those platforms are open. They're on the front and the back of the car, okay? The 19th century came to a close. A deep depression overwhelmed the United States. The nation was headed from the panic of 1893, which was brought on by the collapse of the Philadelphia Reading Railroad and the National Cartage Company. Anxiety about the future weighed heavily on citizens of every class, as the national unemployment had skyrocketed. All around the world, the hue and the cry was Klondike. Those who were able to go were envied, and those whose obligations had kept them at home were pitied. The quest for the Klondike became synonymous not only with the promise of fabulous wealth, but also with the opportunity for a bold frontier adventure. The Klondike was to be, as every stampeder understood, the last great adventure of the century and the last great American frontier. They could not have known at the time, but for the tens of thousands who tried, that their hopes and dreams for riches had eroded into brutal and desperate quests to survive as they began their journey over these mountains. Now, of course, folks, they started their journey from Skagway. And speaking of Skagway, we'll get a great look of Skagway forward and to the left. Now we're already about 6.5 miles up the track. Forward and to the left, you'll see Skagway, and yes, you can see your cruise ship from all the way up here. After seeing Skagway, don't forget to look back behind you, over your left-hand shoulder, and you'll see the Denver Valley and the bridge that we had just crossed over. It's everywhere, huh?
Yeah, what? Oh, yeah. So what are they doing with the orange coats here?
I'll tell you about that in a minute and 30 seconds, okay? So folks, coming up to the left, we'll get a great view of Skagway. Great picture opportunity here. I'll let you know. I will let you know. We'll have one more clearing coming up of Skagway, okay? Don't forget to look back behind you, over your left shoulder. There's the Denver Valley, and there's the bridge. All right, if you're asking about the cones, be very attentive, okay? I will let you know right here. This narrow quarter-mile corridor that we are passing through now is known as Rocky Point. Here, rail workers used over 200 tons of blasting powder to get through the solid granite, which is over half of the total powder used to clear the entire railroad. Now, to your right-hand side, you may have seen some orange or red cones. Folks, we are still doing construction on the track to this day. Underneath those cones, we drilled holes, and eventually we'll put blasting powder into the granite and clear that rock just like they did 125 years ago.
I was wondering about that.
There you go. There you go. As we come out of Rocky Point, sharply down over here to the left is the Skagway River.
Oh my gosh.
We've already climbed around 700 feet in altitude, folks.
Now imagine climbing up without the train.
Yeah, that's wild. It's a long ways down there.
with the 1,500 pounds of goods you're supposed to carry up the mountain with you.
How do you know that you rode the
Museum
train?
in town.
Oh, there you go.
Well, and this is our 4th time riding the train.
wow.
I got reminded of the museum.
Okay. In the beginning of the gold rush, the White Pass Railroad still didn't exist. Many entrepreneurs took note of the difficulties involved in reaching the gold fields. The largest obstacle was the journey over this here coastal mountain range. Back then, stampeders primarily used 2 trails to reach the gold fields in the Yukon. There was the White Pass Trail, which started in Skagway, and then there was the Chilkoot Trail, which started at 9 miles west of Skagway in Dai. Some stampeders chose the shorter but steeper Chilkoot Trail. Others chose the longer, less steep White Pass Trail, believing that pack animals could be used to carry their supplies. But they were very, very wrong. As the trail had wound its way through the mountains, it was bordered on one side by rock and dropped hundreds of feet down on the other. These folks quickly realized that one wrong step could be the very last. There ain't no choice, said an old-timer, of choosing between the Chilkoot and the White Pass. One is hell and the other damnation. No matter which trail you chose, you wish you had gone the other way.
So do you guys still go all the way to Park House?
Not White Horse, but yeah.
Not quite.
Ladies and gentlemen, on your left-hand side, you may have noticed that we have been following a road. Now, folks, this road will lead you to the U.S. Customs House, which is that big teal roof building that you'll see on your left. Now, we have not reached the border yet. That is still 12 miles northwards. Due to the lack of appropriate space and harsh weather conditions in the wintertime, the Customs House was built right there instead of on the actual border. So, from the lower 48 states, you can drive all the way up here to Alaska, just like I did from Arizona. It took me about 5 days trip. Below the building on the rock face, you'll notice some large white letters that read "On to Alaska with Buchanan." Now, George Buchanan was the founder of an educational program that encouraged young boys and eventually girls to earn spots on a transcontinental expedition that eventually bore his name. By earning a portion of their own ticket, hundreds of these young entrepreneurs made it the trip from Detroit, Michigan, all the way up here to Alaska between 1923 and 1939. Buchanan taught these young adults that anything worth having is worth working for. After he had passed away in 1939, a reunion brought these Buchanan boys back up here to Alaska. And to honor their influential sponsor, they painted that famous slogan right on the rocks. Left-hand side sure is pretty, but for those of you on the right-hand side, look right. You're going to see a lot of seasonal waterfalls, about 3 or 4 of them, all unique in their own way, and honestly, they're some of my favorite views from the train. They'll pass by pretty quick, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to get a picture of them, but just enjoy them on the right-hand side. Coming up on the right. One of the biggest ones is coming up on the right. We call it actually Pitchfork Falls. Now, why do we call it Pitchfork Falls? I have no clue, okay? It's just gonna be on the right-hand side. Right here.
Oh, I got that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. Good.
A different angle of it too with the sign. Yeah.
One moment. The biggest obstacle to the successful completion of the railroad was the lack of enough construction workers. Generally, Michael Heaney and the crew did not recruit large numbers of experienced rail workers because they felt they could train anyone to do such work. It is estimated that by the time the railroad was completed, 35,000 men had been on the payroll, even if they only worked a single day. Out of those, impressively enough, only 35 had lost their lives, and the majority of those were due to disease. We are now coming up to the gravesite of 2 unfortunate souls, Algernon and Maurice Dunn, who were killed during a blasting accident when a 500-ton boulder came down the mountainside. This huge chunk of granite fell right on top of the 2 workers, killing them instantly. Unable to retrieve the bodies, a simple black cross was put on top of the boulder, and our foreman Michael Heaney was quoted as having said, "No rail worker could ever expect a finer monument than that." We are approaching Black Cross Rock, and to view this, start looking sharply down on your left. Look for a small black cross with some golden flowers at the base. The entire piece of ground that cross sits upon is the boulder that killed those 2 men in 1898. I'll point this one out for you, and I'll get to you, okay? on top of the boulder.
Wow. Big chunk of land that left.
They didn't fill it up. Oh, asphalt.
Coming up is one of the most beautiful year-round cascades that you have ever seen. I want to give us plenty of time to get our cameras out and ready. If you start looking to your right-hand side, you're going to miss what's happening on the left-hand side. Yes, on the left, we will see Bridal Veil Falls. This cascade tumbles 3,000 feet to the valley floor, and it's fed by the ancient ice of the Carmack Glacier. Named after George Washington Carmack, who was a part of the original crew to find gold in the Yukon and sparked the famed gold rush. So once again, have your cameras out and ready. On the left-hand side, you'll find a Bridal Veil. If you're really looking to get a good picture, try to put your phone up to the glass of your window. We'll have about 15 to 20 seconds of clearing of no trees. Bridal Veil Falls on the left.
We have Bridal Veil Falls in Utah as well.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Let's see if this one competes. Yes! Okay, get ready everybody. Yes, nice, this is perfect, okay? Here it is, Bridal Veil! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13! All right. There you go. Yes, on the way back, we'll pass it one more time. If you missed that photo opportunity, don't you fret.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you just like
Marker,
Yes.
what is our milepost location now?
We're coming up on mile marker 12. Yep, mile marker 12.
Oh, okay.
80 stations, 12.3, so
How far are we going? You said 20 something?
20.4. Yeah, I'm Parker. Hey.
oh wow, there's a train in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are soon going to pass 3 large clearings on our left-hand side. What you'll want to do is look across those clearings about midway up the mountain and you will see something that looks like a road. Now folks, that is not a road, that is a railroad. And yes, that is where we are headed. And in fact, you can see one of our trains up there now. That section of track is called the High Line section, and up there is our famous wooden trestle bridge, which we will cross today. Now folks, if you are afraid of heights, don't worry, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so there's the High Line. We'll be able to see the wooden trestle bridge in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
No way.
There's a train hopping out of the tunnel right now.
That's really far up there.
Who is ready to play chicken today? Just kidding. We have some siding track at Glacier Station. What that means is eventually our track will split into 2. And we have a switch that will switch which side we'll go on. So we'll pass a couple of trains here at Glacier Station.
Is your wife on one of these trains?
She is. She might be on that one for all we know. I don't know. Let's see. She's gonna be on the first train that we're going to pass, so we'll see if we can spot her.
That is so high up there. I can't believe people can't like just walk down this.
Crazy.
No, but like walk down this. I know this is the thing.
While Mike Keeney was spearheading the construction of the White Pass Railroad, the Klondike Gold Rush was in full swing. The first stampeders to make their way into the Yukon in search for gold were so ill-equipped to deal with the winter conditions. They started dying of starvation. It was nearly impossible for supplies to be shipped up north. They had to come on foot. Pandemonium ensued as hundreds tried to flee the territory for survival. Hoping to prevent further unrest, the Northwest Mounted Police declared that stampeders entering Canada would be required to have with them a predetermined list of items. Now, when this list was fully assembled, it weighed roughly 2,000 pounds. Folks, I don't know about you, but I certainly cannot carry 2,000 pounds on my back and hike up these mountains in one go. Neither could those stampeders. That's why this relatively short hike up to the summit turned into a journey of over 1,000 miles of back and forth hiking. You may have noticed that we have slowed down just a touch, and as you look to your left-hand side, you will see some siding track. Now, Glacier Station is one of the stations where we can pass some trains coming down the mountain, which we did see off the Highline section. So on our left-hand side, there's not going to only be one, but two trains coming on our left. For you photographers, it's a great chance to see out the left and get a picture of those trains with their engine pulling that fleet of cars down the mountain. Go ahead and take photos of them, because they're taking photos of you taking photos of them.
Can I get you that car 208, please? Roger.
It's hot, huh? I don't know, I'm a little crazy, huh? My little beanie.
Parker,
Because this is nothing compared to 100.
how many people work in the railroad operation up here during the tourist season?
Whoa, you might have stumped me on that one. I want to say we're close to 300 or so. That's with management and trainmen and us as well.
Okay.
Could be more.
And people in the shop.
Yeah, people in the shop, people in the gift shop, you know, everybody who works for White Pass. I'd say around 300, 400 maybe.
A lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work to do, for sure.
I like your hat.
You like my hat? Oh, thanks, buddy.
So how many trains run every day?
Okay, that's a great question. It can be anywhere from 7 to 8 on a slow day to 14 on a busy day. Okay. This train itself, we already did one excursion this morning with your ship, and now this is our second one for the day. And after that, I'm done. Sometimes you'll be required to do 3 train days. So that means I'd have to do this one more time after this run. Yeah, we get our work in for sure. The tourism season is very busy in Alaska. Out of all of the 1 million or so passengers that come off the ships every year, about half of those will ride the train. Okay, so yeah, I think we're on track to do 600,000 passengers this year with the train. Yep.
Will that be a record?
That will be a record. Yep.
On a big, busy day, how many ships do you have in the harbor?
I think 4. 2 on the railroad dock, 1 on Broadway, 1 on Ore. Yep.
We have 4 out there now.
Did you see 4 ships in there today, or 3?
think so.
I thought there was only 3.
RCL, Silver Star, Silver Seas, Celebrity, and ourselves.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So me 5 even as well. Yeah, or 4, 5.
Skagway for the summer. Did you fly in?
I drove.
I don't want you all crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure you saw her.
Yeah, we saw her. Yeah.
She had brown hair. Not really.
The narrowed it down a lot.
Yeah, right. Maybe when she was wearing a yellow vest. Maybe.
The only one on the train with brown hair.
Oh, here comes another one.
Here's our second one here.
Right there. Here comes the second one. Yep. Right over your shoulder. Back that way.
Why did the train stop?
You got the other train coming. Matthew, turn around. Turn. I'm like, he's not gonna see it unless I tell him.
Folks, we are waiting for one more train to come down the mountain, so we're going to park right here. Go ahead and step outside on those platforms and get a fresh breath of Alaskan air. We do ask all passengers to please stay on board and seated. It is a long hike back to Skagway.
Because we have to let the other train pass us.
One of those nails
So we don't crash into each other. You see that train? I think they didn't have to pass us.
And precious.
So it can pass.
The SRA would not be happy.
Are they going there?
Yep, they're gonna go in that train.
Are they not going
There are different lines.
to track? Weird. Oh.
Because if it went on the
They all look like art costumes. No. But you're right, there are
Almost here. I did it on the other track.
So it can pass us.
Is it the long one?
on the train.
Get on my seat. You silly.
He may not have heard.
Did somebody ask for the best lobster in town?
Yeah, we want to know what time the steak and lobster is being served.
Oh, you think this is the Polar Express, huh? You want me to do some hot chocolate dance or something?
For lobster, you're on the wrong coast.
Yeah.
You want crab or salmon on this coast.
Crab. Crab.
Maine.
Maine.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Here it goes. Here comes the train.
Each car has a roundtrip.
Yes, each car has one.
Yeah, we got a morning.
last night.
It was so bad.
The $15 cheaper.
Yeah, $70. Where was this?
How much instead? Only 70 instead. Only 70.
And you only got.
Oh, I think it was per pound. Well, better patch with all the,
Spend the 70
all
Christmas
the,
time.
you know, with all the shell on it and everything else.
Okay, now you girls should not be missing. Yeah, right. No, we're not.
What's the capacity of this train?
Usually anywhere from 500. Oh, careful, watch your step. Yeah.
You don't look very friendly.
I might have lied. Emma might actually be on this train instead of the last train.
Alright.
Let's see if we can see her. Hey, there she is!
checking on you.
Yeah,
she was. Good thing you weren't in the head.
Folks, we are going to start pulling our way back up the Highline section that these trains had just come down from. And with that, we'll make the largest horseshoe curve our train makes today, curving to the left. So, this will be a great time to get some river and valley views as we go over the Glacier Station Bridge.
Wow.
There you go, that's so
Oh, I need to sit down for a couple minutes. No, I literally stopped there and went
click, 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 click. That's perfect though. That's very nice. Very nice.
oh no, Skagway, oh, yeah, there's one out there.
Folks, indeed, you have joined us on a spectacular day today, and with that, we get to see some things that we do not get to see very often. So, if we look out our windows sharply up to the left, you will see some very sharp and rigid peaks. See some of these sawtooth peaks. The highest mountain range that we get to see from our train today at a stunning 7,000 feet in elevation. Now, as we draw our attention forward and to the left, you will see the ancient ice of the Carmack Glacier. You'll want to be looking for a pillow of snow or a blanket of snow. You'll see some blue ice on the left-hand side of this pillow of snow. This glacier is the glacier that feeds Bridal Veil Falls, that waterfall that we had passed moments ago.
The glacier.
The glacier.
Oh my gosh.
If you have sunglasses, it's a lot easier to see the blue ice of the glacier, okay? Sunglasses. Yes. Candy movie rental store. 20 years old and I'm already sober. During the gold rush in the late 1890s, this area was plagued with anarchy. Skagway was a rough place, but rougher still was White Pass City. This city existed in the valley bottom to our left. The population was ever changing in this town, but at its height, it reached around 2,000 inhabitants. Now, unfortunately, you cannot see it today, but again, White Pass City existed in the valley on our left. Folks, we are approaching mile marker 16, and that means we're going to go through Tunnel Mountain. And yes, we'll pass over that wooden trestle bridge, which, might I remind you, was originally constructed in the 1890s. But, of course, it's been rebuilt, inspected, and maintained ever since. The train will snake to the right and curve back to the left. And so this will be a great shot to get the train in motion, pulling the cars into the tunnel. If you're afraid of heights, well, I'd invite you to admire the upholstery in your train car. Or go ahead and look to the right-hand side and you'll see a small seasonal spiderweb cascade. And as you are going through a tunnel, it will be very dark. So just prepare yourselves for a few moments of darkness.
Roll up, guys, roll up.
Here's that cascade alive. Here we go. There it is.
We used to live in the Tri-Cities.
Oh, okay.
You do?
Used to.
Used to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then we moved to Utah, now we're moving to Kansas.
Oh, geez.
It's gonna look a little different.
Yo, yeah. Oh,
Every place has its beauty.
oh, yeah, it does. It's true.
Folks, in just a few moments, looking back behind you over your left-hand shoulder, we'll get the view of Inspiration Point. One reporter from McClure's magazine had wrote in the year 1900 that this one view alone is worth the price of a trip to Alaska. For about 10 miles as the crow flies, but 17 miles of our historic track. See if you agree with that reporter, folks. Inspiration Point back over your left-hand shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, fire.
Oh, you can see through the ships, too.
Yeah, that's Skagway.
Right there. Barely. If the ships are that tall, you can barely see it. Rub it in.
Here, I'll take some.
We are now approaching one of the more sad and tragic chapters of the history of the White Pass Trail crossing. This valley to our left-hand side is known as Dead Horse Gulch. The trail out of Skagway had originally been advertised as an all-wagon trail, and those who set out on the trail had little reason to doubt that their mules, their oxen, and horses could carry their goods all the way over the pass to Lake Bennett. But when the trail narrowed and there was no room for animals or people to pass, The line had bunched together in gridlock. Many of those using animals to drag heavy-laden sleds had never really worked with horses before, and they treated those animals with harsh brutality. This stampede was fatal for many of the animals as they were beaten and driven along the thin and sloppy trail. An estimated 3,000 horses had met their end between Skagway and mile marker 40 in Lake Bennett. Rider Jack London had wrote about the wretched conditions along the trail. In his writings, he noted the nickname the stampeders had given that portion of the White Pass. He wrote, "Men shot them, worked them to death, and when they were gone, went back to the beach and fought more. Their hearts turned to stone, those which did not break, and they became beasts, the men on the Dead Horse Trail." The inhumanity that this trail has witnessed, and the heartbreak and suffering that so many experience cannot be imagined. However, we can imagine the importance of building this railway, especially considering that those stampeders had to make this crossing 30 to 40 times before ever reaching their summit with a ton of goods. So what was pretty unfortunate is that those horses, although a lot died, a lot of them were at their wits' end. The reason being is because so-called entrepreneurs went to Seattle and they would buy these horses from the glue factory for about 25 cents a piece. These horses were on their last few legs of life. These entrepreneurs would then come back to Skagway and sell these horses for about $2 a piece. So that's $1.75 in profit. They were looking to make a buck. So a lot of these stampeders that came through, they never knew what a good horse looked like. They would buy the first ones that were on the beach. They would hike up the trail. Once they lost the horse, they'd go back and buy another one. So pretty unfortunate. Thankfully, the Northwest Mounted Police, as well as Michael Eady and the crew, they had station masters and stable masters to prevent any further death on the Dead Horse Trail, but already so many horses had already lost their lives. As we start to look forward and to the left, ladies and gentlemen, you will be able to see our famous steel cantilever bridge. Now this bridge was originally completed in 1901, and at the time, it was the tallest standing bridge of its kind in the entire world. It stood about 215 feet from the valley floor and spanned 815 feet across. Now as we get closer, you'll notice the bridge looks a little bit run down. In fact, there's a big hole in it. Well, folks, thank goodness we're not crossing over that bridge today, as it was retired in the year 1969. We will now go over our second bridge, which was originally completed in 1968, and be heading through our second tunnel run of the day. Once again, it will be very dark, and this tunnel is about 3 times as longer as the first one. So prepare yourselves for that darkness.
So we gotta go really fast and we'll get over it.
Faster than this White Pass.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, okay, there's gonna be another tunnel, so it'll be dark again.
This tunnel is more formally known as Opportunity Tunnel. So, if you're with your significant other, go ahead and give them a kiss on the cheek. Yeah.
Still a family-friendly trip.
Still a family-friendly tour. All right, we're coming out of the tunnel now. Very good view here to the left. That train's following us right behind us here. Very cool. As we emerge from the tunnel, looking sharply down on the left, you folks might notice a trail. And yes, folks, this was the original White Pass Trail that was used back in 1898. A footpath of only a few feet across was meant for two-way traffic with pack animals. You'll notice a sign that reads Trail of 98, and this is a nickname that the Stampeders gave the White Pass Trail. It was said that if you lost your place in this single file procession, it could take hours, if not half a day, before some kind soul had let you back into the line. So you'll see a lot of artifacts here, even a pickaxe right there. All that stuff is left there. It's not trash, it's artifact now. But yeah.
Once trash, now an artifact.
Yes, once trash, now yeah, the smell that's still here in the line.
It's still sticking around.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, we will have reached our peak elevation of 2,888 feet. Up on the left-hand side, upwards on a small hill, you will see a bronze obelisk representing the international border and the continental divide between the United States and Canada. You will then see a cabin, which is a replica of where the Northwest Mounted Police were stationed, checking to make sure that each Stampeder has a required amount of supplies before heading to the Yukon. And just in front of that cabin on the left, you'll see some flags. These flags represent the countries, states, and territories that our train runs through. Folks, again, that's going to be on the left-hand side here. Yeah. There's the bronze obelisk. Welcome to Canada, everybody! There's the cabin with our work trains right in front of it.
Gotta put the Tinker Toy somewhere.
The trees got a little smaller.
Yes, they did. guides, Diana and Mason. And the next time you see them, they will not be empty-handed. No need to fear, the souvenirs are here. With them, they will have a souvenir hat exclusive to this train ride. No, you cannot even find it back at the gift shop in town. This hat commemorates our 125th year on the railroad. It's steam engine black and Velcro adjustable on the back. The hats are $10. This is the one and only item they will have with them today. So, if you're interested, discuss with your party, and you can purchase one of these lovely hats from either Diana or Mason. They accept U.S. only cash, and they're able to make a small amount of change if necessary. And of course, folks, they are your tour guides first and salesperson second. So, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
So they don't have the DVD or the CD?
Unfortunately not. I'm glad you brought your GoPro because we're out. We're out of DVD. Yeah. Picture book, I believe, can still be found at the gift shop back in town. And if you spend $10 or $4 at the gift shop, you get a free tote bag. So there you go.
We stopped there before we got on. Yeah.
There you go.
You guys get like a day off or so, right, Harper?
Yeah. One or two. Yeah.
Up near Carcross, what's the name of that lake? Emerald Lake?
I've seen Emerald Lake, yeah. I passed by it. It's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful for sure. I drove the White Pass. So that track you see takes you up to Fraser in British Columbia and beyond. We do not have our passports, so we will not be going there today. Hello, Parker. Hello. Hi, folks. How we doing?
Good.
Good. I got that hat that Parker mentioned. We got it right here. It's $10. It's got the logo on the front. Here we were established, Skagway, Alaska, and then the scenic railway of the world on the back. And I've heard it makes you 10% more attractive. You'll just have to let me know. But yeah, it's $10. Just let me know as I come through. Thank you. But as the years went on, all ice has melted down, and it won't get much bigger or wider than what you see it today.
Every trip, and I just reach on the door when we're going and get one that I'd already parked for the last.
Nice hat.
Yeah, come on. Want to help me out? Wow. Want to help you out
Parker, do you mind if we take your photo?
Of course, go ahead.
Clay, say cheese. Put your hand down. Cheese.
See all this water? Very cool.
I'll get you.
loop in the track, and we are heading downhill. So, on your right-hand side, you will see the replica cabin where the Northwest Mounted Police were stationed, checking to make sure that each Stampeder had a year's supply of goods before heading to the Yukon. Beyond the cabin, you will find the bronze obelisk welcoming you back to the United States. I sure hope you enjoyed your short stay in British Columbia.
Yes, Susie,
But now we're gonna go back to wanna wear the vest? Be highly visible. Ready? Yeah, you know what? That's like a
No, I did not.
I wear this vest. Sometimes people forget their ticket. You wanna try to fill me out a ticket? You can fill it out. I don't know. You can do that. It's good. You're doing a good job. Perfect. What's your name? What's your name?
Yes, obviously.
The A-Y. And the ship, your ship's to the ocean.
We'll let you do
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's really loud.
How loud is it? Very loud?
Yeah. We're slowing down. We gotta wait for another train to pass, I believe. Yeah, I'll let them know.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, okay? We'll make sure we
It's
get
not
you one.
bad, but it does show.
Stay right there for me, are you okay?
Yeah, with us, it is a reduction.
Folks, we are slowing down once again because we have one more train that's going to pass us here on the left. Again, it'll be a great shot to get the engine pulling that train up to the Summit Loop. Alright. What time is it? It's 2:25. 2:25.
Don't blow whatever it is. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. No, I don't think so.
Can you sign it for me? Here, boy, right there. Nice. Woo! Alright, there you go. That's for you. It's a train.
per station. Maybe possibly 8-1. Yeah, it depends on the timing. I'm not sure. We might have passed all the trains for today.
Okay.
This is my little sheet. Because this tells me where the trains are. So this is ours. You want to look at it real quick? This is ours. Well, we don't like the train. We'll stay on. You have a good hat. I like your hat. You like my hat. Awesome.
I love how the water's so clear up here. You can see the all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, all the way. Do you know what a ding is? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Kind of rocks your sleep.
Well, I'll help you out. Folks, on our right-hand side, we'll see the White Pass Trail. And we'll see the sign once again reading Trail of 98, marking the closest the train gets to the original portion of the White Pass. Just beyond the trail, we'll pass through a dark tunnel once again. It'll be around 670 feet long and very dark. But don't worry, upon emerging on your right-hand side, you will see the steel cantilever bridge.
So skinny.
We're gonna go in it. You ready? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Tunnel time. Yeah, we're in the tunnel just for a little bit, and then we'll be out of the tunnel.
Uh-oh.
What's going on back there?
Uh-oh.
What's going on back there? Very long. It's almost, look, you see the light? We're almost out. Here we go. There it is. Oh, that's good. Very good. It's coming. But look, here's that bridge. This bridge. Yeah, it's broken. It fell. It's so small. I'm not sure. I'm going to go for it slow. Are you alright?
You gotta watch those bumps.
The steel cantilever bridge is one of the many reasons why the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad has been deemed an international historic civil engineering landmark. This is not a title given to just anyone. We share this title with the likes of the Panama Canal, the Statue of Liberty, and even the Eiffel Tower. So today, folks, you are truly riding amongst the greats. again, looking to the valley on our right-hand side, we'll get the view of Inspiration Point and your ships from up here. Beyond Skagway, you can see the mountain range. We call it the Chilkat Mountain Range. So this range of mountains we only get to see a few handful of times because clouds are usually covering it. So again, you picked a great day to ride the train.
These are old pictures of hikers walking in the snow. You see that? Yeah, this is
So, Parker, the power lines off to the side here, do those still have power?
They do not.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They are actually telegram wire, and that's how
Oh,
we made it in Canada.
gotcha. That's what those were. Okay.
Highway in. I believe it was also military commercial officers. Remember I talked to my buddies. Because someone wants to have like, you know, so they want to Dude, you look pretty cool with that hat. A different one.
Folks, we are approaching Tunnel Mountain in our last tunnel run of the day. So once again, it will be very dark, but upon emerging, we'll have some great views all around the train. If you're in the front half of the train, I do invite you behind you over your right-hand shoulder, and you'll see the rest of us emerging from the tunnel. Again, that spider web cascade is going to be on our left, and to the right, sharply down, will be the likes of Glacier Gorge, and about 1,000-foot drop. Again, if you're afraid of heights, go ahead and do what our engineer does and just simply close your eyes.
It sets my voice. This tells me how much I'm talking, how loud. The audio is standing on it very loud. What I'm talking. I'll show you when we go.
me. Diana's here for you. She can get to you. Thank you, Diana. Once again, folks, we'll get a couple of great views. Again, looking a little bit back behind you on the right-hand side, you'll see that blanket of snow and the ice from the Carmack Glacier. If you do have sunglasses, you can see that blue ice a little bit better than without. And looking forwards into the right, high above the mountain, you'll see those sharp and rigid peaks, and that is the Sawtooth Peaks, about 7,000 feet in elevation. Thanks, Diana. Great, Diana.
And then I'll leave forever.
There's our map.
Hello, sorry.
Well, did you find the other two? You did.
Yes.
I found this thing. Did you? All of it? That snake is coming up once again. Let the Sasquatch get eyed. As you take a look around with you, I'm sure most of you would agree with me when I say that building a railroad was no easy task. As you look at this sheer drop on our right, imagine trying to hike from your camps all the way up here to blast out this rock. To do this, men worked in teams of 3 doing something called double jacking. These men would hang from ropes on these near vertical cliffs. One man would hold a sharpened steel rod while the other 2 took turns hitting that steel rod into the rock. Hopefully they did not bend. They would then fill that newly created hole with blasting powder, attach a fuse, light it, and swing away just in time as the rock had heat below. To do this, these folks were getting paid 30 cents an hour or $3 a day. One of those dollars they had to get back to the railroad for room and board.
I think a picture of the logo with the wording underneath.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you want a better one, I can. Okay. You're awesome. You're awesome. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're almost there. Folks, once again, we are approaching Glacier Station, and it is here. The train will make a large horseshoe curve, this time to the right. Additionally, there will be some great river and valley views on both the left and right hand side of the train. they gotta see me, so I gotta be visible. What makes the White Pass Railroad even more unique is the fact that we are a narrow gauge railroad. As you look at the tracks on the right hand side, you can see that yes, they are pretty narrow. The standard width of gauge of a railroad is about 4 feet 8.5 inches. But the width between our rails is about 3 feet, as opposed to those standard gauge railroads. One very important factor that led the White Pass using narrow gauge is that the twists and the turns of the track through the mountains had called for this type of railroad. Additionally, it would have required a lot more blasting powder to clear a standard gauge bed instead of a narrow gauge one. Section of track, which you can see in the 3 large clearings to our right. In fact, you can see another one of our trains following us down the mountain. We'll find that wooden trestle bridge, which yes, we did successfully cross over today. Woo! Good job, everybody. See that train? It's coming for us. Because it needs to go back to town. We need to go back to town too. I gotta go back to the ship. Yeah. Can I show you something real quick? Was it cold out there? A little cold out there. right-hand side, we'll catch another glimpse of Bridal Veil Falls. We did get to see the Carmack Glacier today, and that glacier feeds these falls. Again, this waterfall tumbles about 3,000 feet to the valley floor. So you'll look to the right-hand side, we'll have about 10 to 15 seconds of clearing of trees, so you can get a great picture of this beautiful cascade. Alright folks, once again, for the last time today, Bridal Veil Falls coming up on the right. I know we're getting sleepy and tired. We're almost done. Again, coming up, this time sharply down on your right, you will find Black Cross Rock. This is the gravesite of Algernon and Maurice Dunn, who were killed during that blasting accident during the construction of the railroad. The 500-ton boulder is still down there to this day, Look for the black cross with the golden flowers. The entire triangular piece of ground that that cross sits upon is the boulder that killed those 2 workers. Deep dog, John. Deep dog. Sharply down on the right. Find the cross first, then see the ground that that boulder is upon, okay? So here it is. There's the cross. Before, impressively enough, there were only 35 deaths during the construction out of the 35,000 workers that worked on the railroad. And a majority of those 35 were due to diseases like scurvy that had ran rampant through the work camps. These railroad workers' diet was really low on vitamin C. They thoroughly enjoyed flapjacks, pancakes, and bacon. Now this changed when the Chilkoot natives had shown them a trick they've been using for years. They would harvest the tip of the Sitka spruce tree, and since those tips are chock full of vitamin C, they would brew them into tea, thereby increasing their vitamin C intake. The miners, however, they took it a step further. They started brewing those spruce tips into beer.
Oh no.
Now folks, spruce tip ale is still a local specialty of Skagway today. And it is said that 1 glass of spruce tip ale is equivalent to the amount of vitamin C that you'd get from a glass of orange juice.
Oh, jeez.
What better excuse do you need in the morning, folks?
Oh my, now we're getting all kinds of bugs inside. Oh my.
Butterfly.
Yes. Some kind of moth or something.
Careful. It's flying up. Who's sending me off today? I don't want you falling over. Yep, just like that. Remember? It's off, yeah. Look at this side. What does that say? On. This is my little buddy. Helping me out for the rest of the tour here. What's up, dude? It's Blake. He's part of the cousin crew. The great mass migration of people to an area that only 4 had been before. all that can be said is at least most of them return home alive and with a good story to tell. It is estimated that about 100,000 people had left their homes to head up to the Klondike. Now some 30 to 40,000 actually made it up there, each spending a small fortune on their own on that ton of goods. About half of those people were able to make it out to the gold fields and try their luck at gold prospecting. Of that number, only an estimated 4,000 found any gold whatsoever. And only a few hundred found enough gold to be called the Klondike Kings. The Klondike Gold Rush is a story of perseverance, determination, and true grit. And it goes hand in hand with the birth of the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad, the railway built of gold. Yeah, he's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point we have reached my favorite portion of the tour, and that is because it is over. No, I'm just kidding. I get to meet all of you face to face, so you can put a face to the lovely voice you've been hearing all afternoon. Now I will make my way up to the front of the train and head back north, I guess. So, if I pass through your car briskly, don't worry, I will return. I do want to meet all of you and answer as many questions as I can. Do not worry, I will not leave the mic empty-handed. Your lovely...
And to tell you a little bit about your tour guide. Now Parker comes to us all the way from Arizona and loves to golf in his free time. This is his first year as a tour guide, and he actually came up with his new bride. They got married in April and are spending their 6-month honeymoon working here in Alaska. Now folks, if you enjoyed your tour today and would like to show your appreciation, this will be your opportunity to thank your tour guide. Oh my gosh. Unorganized, throws everything in the binder. Doesn't hold punches.
Oh no. But he's got a great voice. How's that sound?
Emma. She's nice. I would convince
It did. It was hiding under seats.
It's like 60 degrees right there. We are now passing through that section of rail where over half of the 450 tons of black blasting powder for the entire railroad was used. Rocky Point. And as we clear Rocky Point, look forward and to the right for a great view of the Denver Glacier Valley. Or over your right-hand shoulder for a great view back to Skagway Harbor.
I hate to see Skagway. It's already good. I hate to see Skagway. Come on.
When you take pictures, turn your head backwards. You don't need it down? Used to do it back in the 80s, but yeah. Yeah, that's so you don't accidentally drop the camera. It'll hang on to you and then you can't drop it. It's kind of fragile.
Almost a year. So mad. I remember Fraser in like 2.5 years. Yeah. I feel like the tree doesn't feel well. Today was supposed to feel happy.
So that, so watch.
On hard
Put your eye in there and look at me. Watch what happens when I turn it and see me coming in and out of focus.
Yeah, I saw what
What you want to do is you're taking a picture so that you will be in focus. I'm probably right over there.
I'm actually
Find it. Hey, you good?
In just a few moments, we'll be crossing over the Skagway River one last time before coming up to the Red Denver caboose on our left-hand side.
There you go. There you go.
you so much for riding with us. Honestly, it's a privilege to be able to do this every day. And it's so much fun when we get to do it with folks like you. So I just want to say thanks for being so much fun. Hopefully we'll see you next time, okay? See you, everybody. See you, everybody. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your trip. Bye, Clay. We'll see you at Caminas. See you, folks. Enjoy the rest of your trip, okay? Nice stop, by the way. Thank you. Enjoy the rest. See you, Clay. Take care, everybody. Hey, give me next one more time.
You're more than a foot forward. Okay, I'm working on it.
There you go. See. No, just that.
You want to hold on to it?
What would happen if like I kind of hurt something?
I grab the AED and do my best. Do my even though I have
The good news is
just slap some tats on you. Full power. Hitter. More hitter.
actually, I think you're right. Yeah.
We have two babies on here, so they're like shut both full power. Two times the job.
I'm pretty sure there's
It's unfortunate.
I know.
So what you're saying is if you don't make it, it's not my fault. It's not having two babies.
We got to develop
But I'm glad you reassured that's not my fault.
It's like, you know, when you make
And then all sorts of roadblocks.
that one is the left release.
I know. I'd rather go home.
Do you remember times like 45 minutes where I'm home?
Taking pictures of other people on the train.
So I'm not a very good junkie. Because I found out last year you set things it up before everything and everybody had a bad like, come on. Quiet. Because still do I am quiet, which I still am. Coming off quiet, I can be a tall person. Wait. I know I can wait.
Coming up soon on our left-hand side, you'll be able to catch one last glimpse of the Gold Rush Cemetery before we pull into Skagway city limits. To see the cemetery, look for the chain link fence on your left-hand side.
Yeah, just because I don't think it's right that he decided to take upon himself to talk about before he won that game. Because like Tyler and all of them said that they assumed I was a terrible person because they like challenged me. But I came up and they automatically liked me. From Tyler. We automatically didn't like me. It's like, I found out you're great. There's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, I told him my pen said. I'll join it. I'll show you all the time. I like going.
You're just the man for the job.
I will.
Alright folks, we are now re-entering Skagway city limits, and regulations state that no one be outside on the platforms at this time. Now the only problem with this announcement is that anyone outside on those platforms cannot hear me. So can you please do me a favor and wave anyone you see out there back inside. I need everyone back inside and seated as I will be going over our arrival announcements in just a few moments.
We did it.
Oh, I know. Been hanging out here for the last while. First it was on that window, now it's on this one.
2 stops for your convenience. Our first stop will be at our depot in downtown Skagway, and our second stop will be at the Norwegian Sun. Now, if you are not from the Norwegian Sun, then you must get off at our first stop. If you are from the Norwegian Sun, you may either step off the train at the first stop in town, or you can stay on board and we will take you back to your dock. Now we'll be stopped at our depot long enough to offload passengers only, and there will not be enough time to step off the train and reboard. If you decide to get off the train at the depot, don't worry about making it back to your cruise ship. It only takes about 10 minutes to walk back to your ship, or you can use our city transit, the Smart Shuttle. There are stops all around town marked with blue signs that say Smart Bus. It stops at each cruise ship dock, so they can make you to and from the dock. It costs $3 per person per ride, or $5 for an all-day pass. On page 22 of your All Aboard magazine, you will find a map of town. Please take a moment to discuss with your party to decide if you'll be stepping off at our first stop at the depot or at our second stop at the Norwegian Sun. This is a great opportunity to double check and make sure you have all of your belongings. Remember to take any hats, sunglasses, purses, phones, cameras, or anything else you may have brought on board with you.
So we had a fabulous time riding the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. We hope you enjoyed it too.